Welcome to the TMZ podcast. Devin here with Branson.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Morning, Branson. How are you?
Good. It's me solo today. I don't have a team today.
Nice.
So I am.
That's always good.
Running it all solo.
I feel like why is that becoming the norm?
It's become the norm recently, huh?
Yeah. I think it's summer. People have things to do. People get sick.
People want to go on trips and actually live a life.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than work, which you don't like to do. You like to work.
No, love to. So I am here we're here, I should say, to give you all the updates on the biggest stories this morning. We'll start with Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm sure everyone is well aware of the situation that happened this week where, he was hospitalized. He went live on his TikTok, a very disturbing video for those that were on the TikTok live or saw clips of it on Twitter or whatever. We actually have some good news this morning, which is good. So basically the Perez Hilton's team is keeping everything pretty tight and they're not releasing a whole lot of information. He was Baker acted, which is like a psych hold in Florida. So he's being held there for 72 hours. So I don't imagine we will hear from him anytime soon or this week, but his family has been releasing a few statements on his website. Mm-hmm. So the good news was, I believe that they actually put it out late last night, but basically they're saying that he is showing signs of improvement and is now able to communicate following his hospitalization. So the statement says, we can confirm that Perez is able to communicate, which has given our family hope, and your prayers, kind messages, and support for Perez. Your compassionate humanity during the profoundly heartbreaking time has meant more than words can express.
Wonder what happened?
Yeah.
Because when you watch that video, some people would assume, maybe he was on something, he was intoxicated, maybe. But
now, a lot of people
get to that, that's a total psych break.
Yeah, I mean, it appears pretty evident that he had a psychiatric break. It is unclear. Obviously, we're not doctors, and that's kind of what doctors do, is try to kind of figure out what actually was the root of this, if they ever are even able to, because obviously when someone does something so horrific to themselves, you can't even really wrap your mind around how someone could get there. Obviously, there are clearly some mental health stuff going on. As far as like all the reporting and people I've spoken to and other people have spoken to, it doesn't really seem like it was like he was did drugs or was a hard partier. That wasn't really his MO. And so what we have learned is, obviously a lot of people are pointing to, a lot of things. The big life change. He had, started a life out in Las Vegas. I think 3 or 4 years ago, he bought a beautiful home there, and he has 3 kids and was living there with his mom. And, it seemed like life was good. Earlier this year, he was hospitalized for 21 days. He had sepsis, which is obviously extremely serious. So he wasn't able to work. Ultimately, his words, he kind of talked openly that he found God and believed God was the one who saved him earlier this year from dying, and basically packed up. He listed his house in June in Vegas, and he moved back to Miami, which is where he's from. Mm-hmm. And the reporting we have is, we were told, that his mom ultimately was the one who wanted to go back to Miami. Maybe he didn't necessarily want to leave Vegas, but
he was good there.
Yeah, exactly.
Freebies.
Yeah, so I mean, he was like a local celebrity in Vegas,
his, silver platter.
And so that, what we're being told, he struggled a lot with the move to Miami and getting into the scene there. We are told that that obviously, I mean, he was very open about this, that he posted a video in May about the fact that, he had all these mounting hospital bills, even though he had insurance, and he was launching new merch to try to make ends meet because, he hadn't been able to work for months and he had lost all that revenue and the bills were mounting. And I was told from some people out in Vegas that he was telling people that, he's very overwhelmed at the time, obviously finances. He was trying to hustle to, make money, and was trying to look for new ways that he could make money out there. So
that just confuses me, because if you managed your money being a celebrity well, at some point, how could 21 days in the hospital devastate you financially?
I mean,
With insurance, and maybe it's like a deductible problem. I'm just looking at this logically. Like, it looks like there might be more behind the scenes.
yeah.
Surface.
I mean, he's the breadwinner for, he has 3 little kids.
He owns PerezHilton.com.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know
How do you get to this point? Like,
I'm not saying, by the way, I'm
here.
also not saying that by any means. I don't think he was like broke. I think just for maybe the lifestyle he was living and finances that he was paying for, he was, I'm not saying the guy was like going broke or didn't have money, but I'm saying I think it started to be, stressful.
Mm-hmm.
To maintain, and I mean, I don't know his personal finances and how he lives, but
he's also had a stressful life in general, just being one of the guys that most people don't like. Like in the celebrity realm, celebrities generally don't like him because of a lot of stuff he did back in the day.
He has had a lot of controversies,
very harsh stuff back in the early 2000s, and I mean, it was a different time, so we're not going to bring that up. But like mentally, that will come back to you later in your life, especially for someone who found God and is reading the Bible and are looking at passages that he would read out on video that say basically the opposite of what he used to do.
Right.
So it's like, it's a whole mental thing.
Right.
Like, it can really come around and get you if you're not stable.
Right. So, and I mean, clearly he's had some mental health stuff going on, and I don't know if, there were medications involved. We have no idea. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I think of what caused it. I mean, like at this point, I mean, maybe it's good for him to know, obviously, in the family of like how he got here. But going forward, I think the important thing is that, obviously he is alive. Thank God he didn't do anything worse to himself, and that, he can get help and get right, because like I said, I mean, he has 3 little kids. He's the breadwinner for his family, and obviously they love their dad. I've also been told that he's a really devoted dad and is a great dad and loves, being a dad. So I think, getting him mentally back to that space just for those kids is probably the most important thing.
I just hope his kids never see those videos.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard.
Like, they should
luckily,
do whatever they can to protect them.
Thank God they were not there at the time. I know they showed up to the scene when cops were trying to get him out of the house. But yeah, I mean, obviously extremely traumatic situation, but luckily they weren't in the house when that was all going down. So
someone said being that he was worshipped in Vegas, which is kind of what we just said.
Yeah.
But I've watched a lot of videos on how Vegas operates, and like when they typically give freebies to people like celebrities, whatever it is, typically a lot of that involves it's like a transaction in a way. So I just want to know if there was anything else. Like, was he gambling in Vegas? Like things like that. Like financially, Vegas doesn't just be like, here's all this stuff for free just because you're a celebrity. But like usually there's some kind of
I mean, like
the trend like that.
Sometimes for big celebrities,
yeah.
But for influencer types, I think it's more like, post on social media and
yeah, you're right.
Something lower like that.
You're right.
I mean, it's not, what's his name? The guy who there's all those rumors about his gambling, Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, Perez Hilton isn't exactly Bruno Mars. So,
yeah.
All right. The other big story from the morning is someone in the Trump world is I wouldn't say getting involved in the Nolan Wells case, but adjacent to the Nolan Wells case. Right?
I'm sorry, I was reading a comment here.
Oh yeah, I was trying to tee you up, bro.
Sorry, my bad.
You want me to take it?
No, I got it. I'm sorry. You guys have a lot of comments here. They're interesting. A lot of comments.
This is what happens when we have a skeleton staff.
Yeah, when we have the computer up here,
yeah,
and
exactly.
These crazy comments are coming through, and I'm just trying to read them. Like people are calling us dumb.
Oh yeah, of course.
But it just happens,
Yeah.
So Nolan Wells, we've been reporting on this extensively. He is the teenager that went missing in Mississippi, Horn Island, off the coast. His body washed up 2 days after his friends came back to the mainland. So now we're learning that his friends, who have had a lot of attention on them, we already knew that they hired lawyers, but we've now learned that they've hired a certain high-profile attorney amid all of these online accusations. Several of Nolan Wells' friends have hired a prominent defamation attorney as they push back against accusations circulating online following Nolan's death. According to the officer, gosh, these kids have been on the show a lot. According to the Tatum show,
Officer Brandon Tatum has been kind of the spokesperson for all these friends that feel like they're being wrongly accused.
And the attorney is J. Tyler Cox, who represents 3 of the young men connected to the case, has brought in now Edward Andrew Palcic to assist. The most interesting part about this is that this is the attorney who has previously represented a lot of high-profile people, including Donald Trump, in legal disputes involving CBS Paramount, the New York Times, the BBC. Tatum says the move is intended to warn anyone spreading what he describes as false and damaging accusations that they could face legal action. And Legal Defense Fund supports Warren Hudson, Jax Pitalow, and Morgan Seymour.
Yeah, so these 3 guys, I know they've gotten a lot of criticism because there's been like a legal fund that started to help support these guys, and everyone's kind of being like, well, why are you bringing in all these high-profile attorneys if like you guys have nothing to hide?
Right.
But essentially, I think they're just bringing in the big gun because apparently, I mean, if what they're saying is true and you had nothing to do with this, and there's all these people defaming you online, I mean, you're entitled to bring in an attorney and sue people for spreading misinformation that defames you.
One of those being this OnlyFans star who was accusing Warren of many things online, and he sent her I think a cease and
no, so it was that this was Bart. I know they all get kind of
Bart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Bart Edmondson Jr. was the one who was being. I think he was photographed with a girl that then people were trying to say was the Katie girl that Nolan was last seen with, and they were trying to spin a narrative on social media that this was due to like essentially him being like a jealous ex-boyfriend. Turns out he says that like that is him in the photo. It's not even Katie, and he has nothing to do with it. So he lawyered up separately, firing off cease and desists to different creators that are, that's the problem though. It's like what I've said from the beginning. It's like all these online sleuths are great and all, but it's also like there's also the other side of the coin where there's these content creators that are just looking to get views, and they're basically just looking to put stuff out there that people will then share and view and like and stuff, not necessarily actually trying to figure out what happened to Nolan Wells.
Yeah. Are they going to get to the bottom of this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to end up ultimately finding out what happened to him. But like I've said, once the autopsy comes out, I think we will have a lot more answers, at least as far as to his actual cause of death and maybe some circumstances around what happened before he died, his toxicology, what was in his system. I think those are all things that might paint more of a picture. But to know, unless someone was there and saw exactly what happened, or it's on someone videoed it, or someone came forward, who knows? And it doesn't seem like any of that is available right now to investigators.
And it could, if it was foul play, I feel like there would be more evidence of that just based on the autopsy reports. There hasn't been any real concrete evidence other than that pool of blood on the back of his head,
which they also said could be. Yeah, they also said that could be just typical to when a body is laying on the table when they're doing the examination. So that could be nothing. I feel
like if there was foul play, he would have bruises all over his body, or
for sure
some type of indication. It could have been anything on that island. The reason we're pointing at the friends is because it was his friends and they're white guys. That they were blamed because the original thought was like, why would your group of friends just leave you on an island? Like, people thought that was sketchy. I didn't necessarily think that was sketchy. These are a bunch of kids partying on the 4th of July, and if one of your friends wants to stay back, and it seemed like it was pretty common that there were all these boats out there that anyone, you didn't take the same boat out there that you took back. How many times in college did you go out partying or anywhere with friends and leave with another group later on?
Yeah, or like one of the friends meets someone that they want to stay back. It's like it's more common to me than I think people were putting on early, but it seems like at least the friends on the boat that he went over with that are getting like accused of having something to do with it had alibis. They've presented evidence. It seems like they really haven't had anything to hide other than the fact of like people slandering their names and them lawyering up.
That's why I believe, and we'll end it here and we'll get to comments. That's why I believe that if this is all way too covered up well to be something like foul play. Like these guys killed him. Like if this was like a messy whatever in the moment, like in the spur of the moment, there was a fight or whatever, there would be a lot more clues than there being nothing.
Right.
It sounds like something happened in terms of like drowning,
a medical emergency of some sort.
Maybe at nighttime when other people were there. I don't think it's fair to focus on the friends. That's just my opinion. So okay.
The only weird thing I'll just leave on this is that it's just weird that you see these videos and you see how many boats are and you see how many people are there, and it is just a little odd that no one saw anything.
Yeah.
Like any type of medical emergency or someone fighting. I don't know. I find that odd.
My theory is that he was there late and they're on the water, and at some point he just went swimming.
Yeah,
and then
I guess.
happened,
I mean, yeah.
I've seen many cases like that in the past. Camp, I went to a lot of camps growing up, and there's a lot of kids there, and you think, oh, like they saw something. Sometimes it's just simple.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Let's see. We have a lot of comments. We had probably our record viewage today. Viewage, is that a word?
Our record
viewership.
That's what you're looking for.
Let's see. There is a lot here, and I can't say a lot of these comments. Let's see. Val Porter says, as horrific as this has been in terms of the Perez Hilton situation, if it spotlights the increasingly need for mental health services, then something good can come from this. Absolutely. And the fact that his family wasn't there, I think, is a gift too, because that would have been really bad.
Yeah, because he was living at the house with his kids and his mom.
Ellen said hospital costs are overwhelming. I don't think his family helped either. I'm sure his family relies.
He's the main breadwinner of his family.
Right. Someone's coming for me. Obviously, don't know how much a 21-day hospital care can cost, especially skilled care. He was in ICU. I know this because my family went through it. Honestly, you're right, because I was in the hospital for 1 day after my car accident, and my hospital bills were nearing like $200,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like you people act like, oh, this guy. And again, I'm not saying he was broke. He definitely wasn't broke. He owns a house that's for sale that's $4.5 million or something. Right. But what I'm saying is that when you rack up a hospital debt like that, it can be pretty daunting on someone.
All right, well, we got to get going. Actually, I just didn't realize it was this late.
Okay.
So,
all right, guys.
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you back here in the